So I don't know if you saw this rumor of the new Meta glasses prototype where they're going to
Mm-mm.
have like this super sensing capability.
No, I don't
So,
know about this.
okay, so it's just a rumor, but
Okay.
the idea is the glasses are going to constantly record audio and every couple of seconds take a picture.
Okay.
And then it'll feed that to the Meta AI, and you'll be able to ask questions about anything that happened during the day while you were wearing the glasses because it literally knows everything. Like, where did I leave
Right.
my car keys? And it's like,
Right.
oh, you left them in the fridge. Uh, you know, like it just knows anything that it has basically super memory.
Right.
So, two interesting tidbits about this is one, it's not actually sending that footage and audio to the cloud.
Okay.
Instead, it's just converting it into metadata, basically like tagging what's happening and sending that to the cloud. I believe it's
Okay.
the idea is it's sending it there. Um, so it's a bit more
More
private
privacy.
than you would anticipate than you would think of on the surface level for this type of feature. The other interesting tidbit is while the prototype is supposedly a new product, in theory, they can update the existing Meta glasses to support this.
Mm,
Um, so there is a
maybe.
chance that the glasses you have could actually get this. I don't know what type of battery hit that will take, but it is a very interesting idea of just having a device that knows everything that happened throughout the day, can record every meeting automatically that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. What do you think of this potential product?
I mean, I think that eventually that is where it's going to be, right? Like, whether you use your phone or your glasses or whatever to do something similar, recording in particular, you can do currently with your phone. But seeing, you need the glasses in order for it to be sort of like super convenient. I think that getting the privacy aspects of that correct, which I think um, they're doing a good job of trying to make sure that they nail it on privacy. Like, for example, so far their glasses have had a flashing light if it's recording, so that if you walk into an environment where um, you're recording using your glasses, if the flashing light is off, then everybody else can sort of like feel comfortable that, okay, I'm not being recorded. And if it's covered for some reason, it will not record. So they're taking the appropriate steps from a privacy standpoint. But if you were to ask the question, would something like that be useful to the everyday person? And I think that the answer was probably yes. But I suspect they're just experimenting to see whether or not it would actually be useful. And they'll know the answer for sure before they actually release a product like that. So, and I suspect there's a lot of technical challenges as well, especially if you're going to be trying to do onboard processing, meaning like processing the pictures that the thing is taking on glasses, or maybe transferring it to your phone and then processing it before you send it to the cloud. All of those challenges would be sort of things for them to work out in the meantime. But but yeah, I mean, like what one of the things that I love about Meta is that all the extracurricular activities that they're doing, whether it's the glasses or the AI data centers or AI products in general, collectively they're being valued at zero. So the moment that these things appear to have some value, and in the past, for example, couple of weeks, the market is like, wait a second, maybe this data center stuff is actually worth something, and the stock is up $100 in the past couple of weeks. Um, the moment it actually gets real value is when you'll really start to see the stock shine. So Meta, in my opinion, is a stock that even at despite this recent 2 week run up or whatever, at like roughly $700 a share, let's say, is extremely undervalued relative to everything else in the market, relative to the S&P 500, relative to other hyperscalers, relative to any other company that has a pretty substantial profit on their revenues, and the revenues come from non-AI products. So it comes from advertising. So it's relatively safe, even if AI was to be in a bubble and crashes. It's at least AI safe. So if AI turns out not to be in a bubble and they actually have great AI products, as they have just announced, for example, their Muse 1.1 is substantially cheaper than than Anthropic's Opus, but it performs on par, and they might start to accumulate real customers and real revenue as a result of all of this, and then all of a sudden it'll be like off to the races, and Meta at $1,000 might be quite cheap. Hard to say for sure, obviously, but it just feels that way to me. So I like Meta from all of these perspectives, and also the fact that they're constantly experimenting with new things, including the glasses. So
yeah, I feel like they're in the middle of having like a Amazon Echo moment. I think it was called Echo, or maybe Amazon Alexa Echo, where Amazon was the first mover to have a smart speaker in the home. And then
right,
everyone was like, oh, this is a great idea. We're going to make our own products. And then Google made Google Home and Apple made the HomePod.
right,
And this feels very similar, where Meta is the first mover on the glasses, and hopefully they'll be able to keep the lead that they have.
right,
Clearly they're consistently innovating there, but they need to outpace. Google already has announced like partnerships and prototypes of their glasses. Apple's heavily rumored to be working on glasses, so I wouldn't be surprised for features like this to come to those products as well. And at the end of the day, a big part of it's going to be who has the best AI, because that's what you're going to be interfacing with.
right, right.
So Apple's last right now in that front.
On the AI
So,
side of things,
yeah, I don't think Meta has to worry about that. But funny enough, what will probably happen is most people will buy these Apple glasses because everyone has iPhones.
Well, assuming they get the pricing right, because so far
Yes,
Apple has not gotten pricing right on any new products, or except for the Apple MacBook Neo,
and they're
which
going to have a
I
new
praised.
CEO.
Yes, and he actually might get the pricing right because he was the advocate for the Apple MacBook Neo. So if Apple comes out with a pair of glasses and they get the pricing, if they nail the pricing, that could be huge. Because the user experience is going to be phenomenal. So you can sort of like count on the user experience part being phenomenal. Maybe AI won't be as good, but hey, who knows if they partner with like Google for the AI side of things,
Right.
maybe they can also make the integration pretty good. But like for example, with the Vision Pro, at $3,500 a piece, it was dead on arrival. It didn't matter how good it was; it wasn't going to succeed, and that was like a predetermined outcome based on price alone. So um, the one thing that's nice about Mark Zuckerberg and Meta is that at least on the price side of things, they're nailing it. They
I
recognize that
agree.
you can't go too high. If you enjoyed this clip, consider subscribing to the Buy Hold Rant podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. New episodes are released every Wednesday, and you can watch them live on YouTube.